special shout out to our sponsor, Qualia. Qualia is the category-creating digital closing platform used by thousands of lenders across the country to seamlessly work with their title and escrow partners. By working better together, Qualia is powering lenders to deliver a differentiated closing experience for their clients. Through real-time communications, closing status updates, and workflow management, Qualia brings lenders together with home buyers and sellers, title and escrow agents, and real estate agents for a secure and seamless closing experience. Qualia is proud to have been awarded the Housing Wire Tech 100 Award for real estate, as well as CB Insights FinTech 250 Award. Discover how you can work more efficiently with your title and escrow partners at qualia.com/innovators. That's QUALIA.com/innovators.
Greetings, everyone. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Mortgage Innovators podcast, where we deliver fresh and hopefully fun and entertaining insights on all things mortgage and the innovation propelling our industry forward. I'm Margaret Chiavini, and I am with New Res Correspondent Lending. And every Tuesday, you can find our rotating group of co-hosts who all share their own unique connection to the industry. And I have one of my wonderful co-hosts, Sue Woodard. Hi, Sue.
Hey there, glad to be here.
So glad you're here. And this week is a great week because we are joined by Ty Ciola from Qualia, who's not only the sponsor of our podcast, but they're one of our premier sponsors for next week's Mortgage Innovator Conference. Hi, Ty.
Hey, Sue. Hey, Margaret. It's great to see you both.
It's great to see you always. We love our conversations. And we're actually going to have a really fun conversation today. But before we get into it, I just want to remind all of our listeners that this is it. The Mortgage Innovators Conference 2022, The Power of Innovation, is this coming Monday, May 2nd through the 4th at the Hilton Anaheim. It's still not too late to register, and information about the agenda can be found at mortgageinnovators.com/conference. That's mortgageinnovators.com/conference. Okay. Well, Ty, Qualia has a pretty wonderful whole information session that they're going to be doing at the conference. Would you mind giving us just a little sneak preview about some of the things that the recipients and the folks that are going to the conference can expect from Qualia next week?
Yeah, Margaret, we're really excited to get down to Anaheim next week and see everyone. We're bringing a full team down there. We've got a couple of sessions. So one of the primary sessions that we're doing is called the Connected Infrastructure Era of Mortgage Tech. So our Senior Director of Product, Charlotte Brown, she's absolutely fantastic. She's going to be talking about the next phase of mortgage technology innovation and how it's really going to focus on connected infrastructure, back-end automation. So these are concepts that we've spoke about over the past several months in various podcasts, and taking this all together, it's really going to be focused, I think, on the idea of connected infrastructure and back-end automation with being able to plug into the settlement ecosystem. So allowing lenders to remain in their LOS, allowing title companies to remain in their core system of record, and facilitating workflow and automation through what we call this connected infrastructure right here. So really huge focus right now, especially just given the market changes over the past several months, and there's a real focus on, again, optimizing workflow, margin compression, all of the things that we talk about pretty regularly. It's gonna be a really exciting session just on how lenders can really plug into the settlement ecosystem and take advantage of a lot of automation that's already available today.
You know, Ty, I got to tell you that this is one of the themes that I've been on the road a lot in the last 6 weeks, and it's one of the themes that I'm hearing people talk about is, you know, we're coming out of these 2 years and people are finding a lot of disconnected, you know, technologies. They're saying we just kind of were like, sure, we'll take one of those and a couple of those. They're kind of looking at their tech stack, and it's kind of a tech jumble, right? And looking at things that aren't connected, the data's not flowing and it's not efficient. And so I know that's a big exercise that lenders are really pulling up right now and saying, okay, the market's shifting. So A, we have time, and B, we've got margin compression, and C, we maybe have some things that aren't really working most efficiently for us, or we've got duplicated technologies. And so I'm super excited about this session with Charlotte, because when I read the title about connected infrastructure, that's the dream. That's what everybody wants, is a connected infrastructure where everything is working together, your data is flowing, and you're ensuring that your originations, your operations, and beyond is efficient and effective, and you're getting as much out of it as you possibly can. So I think this is going to be a brilliant session. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Sue. And I think, not only just with lender title workflow, but you look at other areas, right? You've got appraisals, you have the borrower experience, right? Being able to plug the POS and the LOS from the various systems. You have e-closing, you have servicing. There's so many different solutions, portals, different pieces of technology out there. And not having them connected is having an impact on the borrower experience at the end of the day, because that's where lenders are really trying to go out there and win business, is by having that great borrower experience. If they're not connected on the back end, that's going to have an impact on the entire workflow right there. So it's going to be a great session, and hopefully a lot of great lessons learned that people can take away and not only apply to their lender title workflow, but other areas of their business as well.
And Ty, would it be fair to say that plugging into the title side of the business, that in a way that has been almost the most challenging?
I think it's been a huge issue, not issue, but challenge. I mean, you look at TRID back in 2015, there was a lot of investment in new technology to try and solve and bridge that gap. And ultimately, so the several years following TRID launching, weren't able to get adoption on both the lender and the settlement agent side. And so everybody went back to what they're doing, which is email, and which is phone calls, fax. And so I think that area is ripe for innovation. And there's a huge opportunity, I think, to provide a lot of uplift, add bottom line revenue. And then it really does impact the borrower experience, because if you have a poor closing, that's going to get pushed back on the lender at the end of the day, even if it's the title company's fault or vice versa. And so huge opportunity, I think, for improvement. And it's something that we're really passionate about, solving real business problems and trying to create a better experience for both sides, on the title agent as well as the lender.
Yeah, and Sue, isn't it so cool, because we're always talking about that. We're talking about that ultimately what we're looking to produce is, how do you at the same time get efficiencies so that you can deal with margin compression or various elements that are happening in the marketplace, and then always enhancing the borrower experience. So yeah, it's gonna be a great session.
No, nail on the head. And it's like, as you look at the whole conference, I just think and you said it a few minutes ago, it's not too late to still. I know somebody who just signed up today, because they're like, oh, I looked at the agenda and like, I can't miss this, because it's right in the crosshairs. I mean, every single session, including the one with Qualia, is it's really designed for the market that we're in right now, right? And so whether it is talking about your session, Margaret, I think is on non-QM, and it's about how do you drive revenue. I mean, these are the two pieces of the equation of margin compressions. You either need to figure out how are you going to drive, how are you going to get more business, right? Because you're going to do more deals, or how are you going to become more efficient with your expenses, right? And so whether that means that there's things you can automate, it's more revenue, less expenses, to keep that margin from getting compressed. But at the same time, I also love that, Ty, some of the things that you're talking about, and so many of the sessions are talking about, is how do we do both of those things while not really compromising that customer experience. I mean, sometimes people will leave the customer experience, as like well, that'll be nice to have. If we have time to treat them to a good experience, that'll be great. But man, in the market, with it getting so competitive, if you don't get the customer in the first place because you're not, capturing them and creating a great experience or having the right products to be able to offer them, it doesn't matter what the costs are or what the, perceived revenue is or what the experience is, because you don't have the customer. And so, that's first and foremost. We have to be creating an experience that's going to capture that customer in the first place, so that then we can take them through this process that we're looking to optimize.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I love that you said that, Sue, because it might be sort of fun just for a few minutes to talk about what are the aspects of the conference that we're the most excited about. And, Sue, I'm super excited about your session, which is really about the 5-star customer experience. And to your point, everything starts there. Yes, we have to have the connectivity. We have to have the efficiency. And I like how, Sue, you anchored us back. You either increase revenue or reduce expenses or some combination thereof, but we can never forget why we're doing this. So I'm super excited about that session. Ty, what are some of the sessions that you're the most looking forward to?
Yeah, I think outside of Charlotte's, I always look forward to the product demos. I'm actually going to be demoing our product, and so I'm really excited for that. Just seeing what else is out there. I think Mortgage Innovators is a great opportunity to see what is some of the next gen technology that's coming out in the industry. Anything forward facing that's pushing the industry to, I really like. So I saw there's a session on blockchain. I saw there's a session on robotic process automation. So any of these not futuristic, but types of technology that are really pushing the industry and pushing the button to see how we can really improve this industry. I'm really excited to see a lot of the innovation, because at the end of the day, it's the Innovators Conference.
Yeah. Sue, how about you?
I got a few other favorites. Our buddy Paul Gelati is one of a couple of folks on a panel talking about serving the underserved. And I think that's an increasingly important issue, because as we look at the world that we're in with, 8.5% inflation, and when we start talking about gas prices and food prices, it is the folks who can least afford it that really hits, right? And then we talk about interest rates going up, the cost of homes going up. It's just that disparity between who can get into a home is becoming greater. So I'm really excited about that session and some of the creative things that are going to come up there, so that we really are doing our part that I know so many of us in the industry are so passionate about, making sure that people aren't left behind in home ownership. So I think that's going to be a really important session. Another one I'm really excited about is the one talking about source data, that it has, I think it's got Tim Wynn with Be Smarty and Brian Bu with FinLocker, and he's been on our show, as a matter of fact. But I think this is another really important one, because it kind of still feels weird that we are asking borrowers for, give us all the pages of your bank statement for X number of months. Oh, this one got old, we need another one. I mean, and it's like, I understand why. I was a processor, I was an underwriter, but it feels like, really, in the world we're living in. And I think it just, when we start to talk about how can we just have that data, so that literally everybody in our database ultimately should be kind of omni approved, right? Everybody should be kind of approved for something all the time, because we've got access to all of these data points very easily. It feels like that's where we're going. So I'm really looking forward to that session to kind of hear the future of where we're going, because that certainly would cut a lot of cost out of the process and make it easier for borrowers as well.
Yeah, that's so great. I know. You think we can send someone to the moon, but we can't get the updated tax returns.
No, it's really something. So, it's a lot of good. There's another session with David Karandish of Capacity talking about automation. Same thing. This is like, we have to be, I kind of feel like, these are critical topics now. These are life or death topics now for some companies, right? This isn't like, oh, it'd be cool if we can do whatever. No, this is like, some of the decisions that people make are going to be critical to how they survive this year and how they really can thrive this year. So that's another, I think, really important session about how are you utilizing automation to accomplish, again, either more revenue or lower expenses. And just, as I said, every single session that I looked at is like, man, that's just exactly where we need to be. So I'm psyched about it. It's going to be good. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be happy to travel there without a mask on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep. One other session that I'm super excited about, and I just absolutely love the title, and that is Fraudsters Innovate Too. And sort of the idea that there's so many threats. And so that session is going to be fantastic, in terms of, preserving some of the machines and technologies and stuff that we use, so that we're more protected, all the way to Sandra James from Private Eyes. She'll be talking about, how do you protect your company by hiring the best? So it's pretty neat. And you heard it directly from Sue Woodard. It is not too late. So we encourage you to register and join us next week at the beautiful Hilton Anaheim. And anything else, Ty, before we sign off on this week's episode?
Well, I think we really appreciate being a part of the podcast over this year and being a great partner with Mortgage Innovators. So thank you both for having us. Really look forward to seeing everybody next week, and it's going to be an absolute blast at the show.
Yep, that's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe to the Mortgage Innovators YouTube channel or wherever you podcast. So we hope we see you next week for the Mortgage Innovators Conference, and until next time.